Hello, guys. Good day. This is Anne of Reinforcement Club, your fellow positive reinforcer. Today, we're going to talk about self respect, how to destroy it, and how to gain it. I'm just going to bring up the top three main thing today. How to destroy your self respect in many minor ways. When I say minor, you know, minor, I'm talking about the things that we do unintentionally, unknowingly that we're doing it, and then it comes to a point that we feel like we can't trust ourselves that we're going to accomplish this thing because we know already that when we say the things that we're going to do, most of the time we don't do it. That's why I'm trying to bring this up. Most of the time we don't want to do it. Now, basically, the number one thing that actually destroys your self respect and even confidence is constantly breaking promises to yourself. Repeatedly quitting commitments, goals, and values, which erodes your internal credibility that you can actually do this, but you can't. Because you know yourself that you're going to quit in the middle of it, or even when things get hard. You know the way? Like, for example, your work starts at 7 a.m. in the morning, and then it's already been agreed. You're like, for example, you're a kind of employee who's always been late, and you've already agreed with your boss that you're not going to be late anymore. You're going to be on time, 7 or earlier than 7, but you still do it. Maybe first couple of weeks you're early, but in the long run, it's still going on. You're still late. Well, there could be other reasons why some people do that, because I used to be a kind of student who's always been late in the class before when I was younger, when I was a teenager. I did that, although I know I could not be late. I did that, going to the class late, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, with the sorry and all the excuses. I did that because I can do it. There's actually a form of rebellious that you could be against the law, that you're tough, quote unquote tough, not in a positive way, but that's actually a form of, okay, let's bring this up, disrespect. You've already agreed together as class, you've already signed in your work contract that you're going to start at 7, but you're always gonna be late. You can't get your head around it because you can. And you have excuses to the point that you start seeing yourself unreliable. Maybe for some reason, though, you know that you're already doing it because you might not gonna, like, for example, in a class you don't like the subject, you're just taking things for granted. It's all right for you to mess it up. But in terms of like teamwork, or you're doing some project, something serious for the company, something like even simple promises for your kids, for your boyfriend or girlfriend that you're going to do, but you failed to do it. Not only once, twice, but many times. So it actually backfires, the way that, you know yourself that when you start this thing, already that since you're already breaking your promises, already that when things get tough, well, there is a high probability that you're going to quit on the spot. Because you've built that brand to yourself. You've built that record. That is why self-respect is a hard work. Hard work that you earn it to yourself, and to the point that you don't tolerate other people to disrespect you because you work hard to earn that respect to yourself. Now, the second thing that's going to destroy your self-respect is seeking external validation at the expense of your integrity. I'm talking about surrounding yourself with people who's just going to put you down, betray you, lie to you. It's just going to embarrass you, in a regular in a regular basis, but you just let it slip away because you want to be in the group. You want to be part of the team. You're dying to be part of a team, even though you know that deep in your soul, you're not happy anymore. You just let it pass to avoid conflict, to be liked, to be approved by others. You still stomach those betrayals and lies from the person because you want to keep that kind of relationship. But in the end, it's actually slowly breaking you down. That in a regular basis, you feel like you're not enough. You're not worth it. You give that to yourself single-handedly, that you just let it pass. Which actually drives you to the third way to take away your self-respect. That is to tolerate disrespect or mistreatment from others. You make yourself you're already treating yourself like a doormat, and you just let others do that to you. You don't want to work to earn your respect for yourself. So work hard and harder, and always ready to say no, and never tolerate disrespect. Because if you do, those, constantly breaking your promises, seeking validation, and tolerating disrespect, it actually chips away self-worth and strength in your part over time. Now, on the other way around, on the other hand, how can you build your self-respect after you breaking it down? Well, let's go back to basic. Number one, the opposite of destroying it is to keep your word, especially to yourself. Keep your promises. Doing the things that you said you're going to do to yourself. If you say you're going to go to the gym, you're going to work out in the morning, regardless of a time, or you can have a specific time, so it will actually boost your, a great higher probability you're going to do it, then go to the gym tomorrow morning. Finish the job. And over time, you're going to build it. You said to your brother that you're going to go on a trail this weekend, then do it. Go on a trail this weekend with a specific time. That's the perfect time for you, building relationship, making memories with your brother. When you said to yourself that you're not going to be late anymore, as agreed with your boss, that you're going to be, you said to yourself that I'm going to be punctual. That I would even consider that, if being on time is already late. So I must be 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes or more ahead of that time. Like, for example, your work time starts at 7. So you must be there 5 minutes before 7. 6:55, 6:45, because you considered, you already, that's your standard. Being on time is already late. So be ahead of time. And you do it over time. That actually builds up to the point that you can trust yourself that you're going to finish the job. And those are just minor things. Sometimes you just let it slip away. But when you work hard, or even harder, to do the things that you said you're going to do, it's never going to be easy because that's another to-do list for the day. But when you do that over time, you can say to yourself that you are reliable. That when I said yes to this, I'm ready to say no to everything else because this is my priority. All right? And since I've already said yes to this, I'm going to finish this. I'm going to be 100% present in this area with this person because I said yes to this person. And that's the second way to build self-respect. That is to set and maintain boundaries. To be ready, always ready to say no when you've already committed a yes to one thing in an area. When you said yes to to this project, then you have to be ready to say no to everything else until this project is already finished. You nailed it. Saying no means protecting your time and energy, which shows that you value yourself. Don't be a doormat. Which lead to the third way to gain self-respect. That is to not tolerate disrespect from others because you don't do that to yourself. And since you've already built a brand to yourself, that you said, that you do the things that you're gonna do, that you're always going to prioritize to those, the things, the people, the relationship that you said yes to, and say no to everything else which you considerably be some kind of distraction for you, then you'd be ready enough to do the hard things which are aligned to your values. This is the best part. To build a good brand to yourself first. Doing uncomfortable challenges. Working hard on meaningful goals. Facing your fears. All right? Doing the bungee jumping. Even though it scares you, but you said you already paid the ticket. So why you can't do it? So before the fear comes in your mind, you've already jumped. This is actually what I did though. I jumped before I feel fear. I already paid for it, like bungee jumping, what other stuff that I did with my friends, bungee jumping, and I actually forget those games. We jump on like a big high waterfalls in Cebu. That when you look at the height where you're gonna jump, what's underneath, you're gonna get scared. But since I already paid for it, so before I look at what's underneath the falls where I'm gonna jump in, I just jumped because I said it. I already bought the ticket. It's kind of I just do it. Just do it. Doing uncomfortable things, like when you say to yourself that you're gonna buy a house in 5 years, you're gonna plan for it. Save weekly so you can come up with this particular amount monthly to this year, to the specific amount for this year, times 5 years. When some major things that's going to happen that's going to compromise the plan, so make it 6 years, 7 years, 8 years. Always keep your eyes on the prize, because you said it to yourself that you're going to do it. And it's already been said and done that you're going to do it. Just do it. Finish the job. So those are long-term goals. When you can trust yourself doing the small time, the minors, that actually builds up your confidence, confidence boost for you to trust yourself that you can build something long-term, which is incredible. Self-respect grows when you prove to yourself that you can act with integrity under pressure. Whatever happens, you're still going to finish the job. It might be not today, but you're going to find a way. Always find a way. Maybe tomorrow, next week, but get it done. So, I hope I shared something valuable today though. If you ever love this episode, you can share this to your family and friends. You can follow me in YouTube, Facebook, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, even in Amazon Music, as well as in X. Reinforce Me Club, by the way, this is San, your fellow positive reinforcer. I do appreciate your time and have a lovely day ahead. Thank you.